Hi everyone. So we will start our session with the continuity of the yesterday's class. So this is part 2 of the lesson light, shadow and reflection. Okay. In previous class, we have talked about the light enables people to see things around us, isn't it? And we have come across the words what is luminous objects and luminous and illuminated objects, and also we have discussed that when the light falls on the object, what happens, some object will allow the light, that is it will allow the light to pass into that object, and some never allow, it doesn't allow the light, and some do partial thing, isn't it? So today we are going to see the interaction of light. So the question that in each of you may get think that in each of these, why do we have these three different types of objects? That is, we know transparent, translucent and opaque, isn't it? We are saying three different types of the objects based on the light, that is when the light falls on the object, what happens, the objects might be, definitely it might be either transparent or translucent or opaque. How we are classifying this? That is because light when falls on object, it interacts in different ways with different objects. Can you understand? When the light falls on an object, the light interacts in different ways with the different objects. So for example, in some objects light gets reflected. When light falls on certain other objects, it gets absorbed by the objects, whereas in certain objects light gets transmitted. So these are the three different things will happen when the light falls on an object. I repeat, when the light falls on an object, what are the chances of that property? One thing, the light may reflected, or it may be absorbed by the object, or it may be transmitted through the object. Okay, so these are the three things. Out of these three, any one of the thing will happen. Okay, that is the light that passes through the object completely, that is transmitted, isn't it or not? So these are the only three possible interaction of light when it falls on an object. So what happens when the light falls on an object? Three interactions of light may happen. One, either reflected or absorbed or transmitted. So depending on whether the light is transmitted or absorbed or reflected, materials are classified as transparent, translucent or opaque. In last class I told transparent, translucent, opaque. We know the meaning, isn't it? How? Based on the light interaction only, we can classify the object as transparent or translucent or opaque. Have you understand? Okay. So let us say this. The thing you see here is an object. Whenever a light falls on it, for example, imagine here one picture is given. No, the blue color is an object. Imagine this is the object. Okay. Okay. So when a light falls on it, these are the light. Okay. When the light falls on the object, the light falling is there, no, falling on the object, that light is called incident light. What do you mean by incident light? The light falling on an object is that light is called what? Incident light. So when the light falls on an object, what are the three interactions are possible? Reflection, either it will be reflected or absorbed or transmitted. So the light get reflected, that is, what do you mean by reflected. See, this is the incident light. When it falls on an object, what happens? It is reflected. What do you mean by reflected? Yesterday itself I told, that is, it will bounce back. Or otherwise, what happened when the light, when the incident light falls on the object, it might be absorbed. It might be absorbed. Okay. Or the light gets transmitted, that is, it will allow the light to penetrate into the object. So these are the three interactions will generally take place. Out of these three, any one of the thing will happen in all the objects, isn't it? So it will be reflected meaning bounce back, or absorbed by the object, or it gets transmitted. So these are the three interactions. What do you mean by transmitted? Allow the light to pass through the object. So in which type of objects light doesn't get transmitted at all? They are called opaque objects, isn't it? While talking about yesterday itself, I told opaque object, when now the light doesn't allow the light to pass. So what are the chances? Either it should be reflected or absorbed. So in opaque objects, the light will either reflected or absorbed. So in any object, when it is reflected or absorbed, definitely it should be a opaque object. Okay. So when you talk about translucent object, there some part of the light will be transmitted, where some part of the light are absorbed, and some part of the light are reflected. So depending on how much amount of light is reflected and how much amount of light is absorbed and transmitted, an object is classified as transparent, translucent and opaque. So it depends upon the amount of light, that is the incident light, the amount of light it is reflecting. Incident light is what? The amount of light which falls on the object. From after that, how much amount of light is reflected, or how much amount of light is absorbed, or how much amount of light is transmitted, based on that only we can classify the object as transparent, translucent or opaque. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the interaction of light? That is, how do we know that how the light is going to behave with the uh, particular type of an object? So that it completely depends upon the nature of the material of an object, and also depends upon the nature of the medium through which the light travels. For example, so imagine sunlight. Okay, imagine sunlight, and sun is far apart from the earth, isn't it? It is far apart from the earth, but even though it is far apart, we are receiving the sunlight. We are receiving the rays, isn't it? Okay, so the medium between the sun and the earth is what? It is air, atmosphere, isn't it or not? So depending upon the object, here earth is an object, because uh, earth is going to receive the sunlight, isn't it? Sun is giving the light, and that light falls on an earth, so earth is an object. So from the sun we are receiving the light. What is the medium that is in between? The space is there, no? The distance in between, from the sun to earth, the light is traveling through a medium. That medium is air. So depending upon the nature of the medium and depending upon the material of the object only, we can classify as transparent, translucent. So the type of medium and type of the material of the object decides how light will interact with the particular object. So look at this screen. See, this screen gives you a just fair idea about how different transparent, translucent and opaque objects would be. Let's see this. So I'm going to give example. Here one card is given for transparent, translucent and opaque. Three images are given in a single screen. So when you look at this through the transparent object like glass, you can clearly able to see the car. Can you understand? Imagine a car is in front of you, but you are not going to see directly. In between you and the car, one glass, one mirror, one window, glass window, a big glass window is there. Imagine like that. Even though a glass window is there, you can able to clearly see that car, which means the glass is the medium, isn't it? Because through the glass only we are going to see the car. Okay, so that glass is an object which is so the light is able to travel. It is light is passing through that medium, so only it is very clearly visible because it is very transparent. Now let us see. Here you can see an object in a translucent like a frosted glass. So next, same car but the glass is somewhat frosted glass. So yeah, you can able to see the car but not in a very clear. It won't be that much visible. You can see the object that is exists there, but you are not able to see it very clearly, and hence the third picture, which is opaque, because here the medium what you have chosen is a opaque medium, so you cannot able to see the car which is standing behind that medium. Imagine this is not a glass, it might be a bricks, it might be a wall or any other thing. So due to the opaque nature, because light is not traveling, that is not passing, because it is a opaque medium, so it doesn't allow the light to travel. What it will do, either reflect or it will absorb the light. So so this is the difference between the transparent, translucent and opaque. So keep in your mind to check whether the object is transparent or translucent or opaque. It depends upon the nature of the medium, it depends upon the nature of the material of the object, and it also depends upon the amount of light it will receive, that is it will reflect or absorbed or transmitted. Based on these three only we can classify any objects whether it is transparent, translucent or opaque. So if I am saying one object, you have to check the three things. What are the three things? You have to check the nature of the medium, and you have to check the nature of the material of the object, and you have to check the amount of the light reflected or absorbed or transmitted. Then only you can classify the given object as either transparent or translucent or opaque. Okay, so let us classify these. Here some objects are given which you are seen in the screen. You are going to say whether it is transparent or translucent or opaque. Let's talk let's talk our so which picture we can select. First we will start with the mirror. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think about mirror, whether it is a transparent, mirror is transparent or translucent or opaque object? Now so please look at the mirror. In mirror, are you able to see the object which can present on the other side of the mirror? So you are standing in front of the mirror. Now my question is, can you able to see the object which is present at the other side of the mirror? No, because mirror does not allow the light to pass through it. So mirror is a opaque object. Mirror is an opaque object because here the light is not getting transmitted, rather than light is getting reflected. That is, you are able to see your image. Have you understand what I am saying? See here in this picture, you are standing and this is the object. Mirror is an object, so light is falls on the mirror, but it is not allowing the light to pass through. Instead it is reflecting back, so only we can able to see the image of ours. You can able to see your own image on the mirror, which means that the mirror is not, it is not passing, so definitely it will either reflect or absorb. So here what happens, it is reflecting, it is reflecting our own image. So you can ask, ma'am, window glass is allowing the light and mirror also is made of glass, why it is not? You can ask that question, isn't it? I repeat, you can ask, window glass is allowing the light to pass through it, but the glass and mirror is not transmitting, that is, it is not allowing the light. Why? Because mirror is a thin glass slab which is coated with silver on one side. What do you mean by mirror? Mirror is a thin glass slab and a silver is coated on one side of the mirror, because of which the object which is present on the other side is invisible, and it is highly polished also. So whenever the light falls on the shining smooth surface, it gets reflected uniformly, because of which the image formation takes place. So it is opaque. Sometimes even in our floor also we can able to see our image. Have you noticed? Because of the polished floor, the light is reflecting back, so we can able to see our own image. So mirror is not a transparent, it is an opaque object. Have you all clear? Now look at the bulb. Now say whether it is transparent or translucent or opaque. Can you guess? It is transparent. Why? We know glass, bulb is made of glass, isn't it? Look at the bulb. The glass which is on the bulb, no, that glass is transparent. That is, it allow the light. You can able to see through which you can able to see the filament inside. That is, in a filament. Have you? This is the filament. Tungsten filament. Have you seen this? Yes. Can you able to see? In your home, you can check. Take a glass bulb and you can able to see the filament which is present inside. Yes, so you are able to see the object. So that is outer is a glass, inside also a filament is there, you can able to see. So it is transparent. Okay, so bulb is a transparent thing. What about spectacles? Spectacles, if you wear spectacles also, you can able to see the object which are present in front of you. So that is also transparent, isn't it? Thermometer, transparent. What about shirt? So shirt is not given. Okay, take about book. Whether can you able to, if you just see the book, after that, whether the book is transmitting the light or what? No, it is not transmitting the light. So it is an opaque object. What about oil? It's an oil. So obviously it is not opaque. But lot of time we have a lot of confusion that the oil is transparent or translucent. There should be some confusion, isn't it? Now when I say oil, it is very general term, because there are different types of oils: vegetable oil, cooking oil, so many different types of oils are there. A lot of oils are transparent, whereas some oils are translucent. So now how can we say that the oil is transparent or translucent? Let us see. Have you ever observed the dry sheet of paper appear to be opaque? We know that paper, that is opaque, isn't it? But if you apply some oil on it, later after that, if you see what you can, that what happens, it becomes translucent or transparent to some extent. So this influences the transparency of a paper. That is because of oil has that nature in it. Similarly, you can also dip a paper in a water. At that time also you can able to see somewhat that is translucent. So now we got the basic idea about the how the light interacts with other objects. I hope you are all clear. So the light interaction may be in three ways. It might be reflected or absorbed or transmitted. If it is an opaque object, definitely it should be reflected or absorbed. Have you all clear? Okay. So let us see what exactly is light first of all. Because for the first video I have told that light, as I mentioned about, it behaves as to see. It's a very general statement, isn't it? So what is exactly light? Light is a form of energy which enables to see things around us. So light is in the form of, it is one of the energy, light energy, solar energy we used to say, right? So light is a form of energy which enables to see things around us, and light travels along straight path. So if you talk about how light travels, it always travels along straight path. So now many of the time you might feel that is it the light travels along the straight path? Because when I keep my windows open, the entire room get lit up, so that means light can able to reach every corner of the room. So how can you say that light travels along the straight path? You can ask that question. So we will do some few experiments to prove that light travels along the straight line. And speed of the light is very huge, and the light travels at a very high speed of around 3 into 10 power 5 meter per second. I have one small doubt whether it is 10 power 5 or 10 power 8. I'll check and tell you in the next class, okay? And but the speed is very, it is extremely high speed. Okay. Okay. Now we will check with an experiment. How does light travel? I told light travels along in a straight path, isn't it? For that, what you are going to do, just we are going to take a burning candle. See here, you no need to do the experiment. It was given here also. I'm saying in my words. Just look at the experiment so that you can get an idea. Just imagine. Yeah, imagine like you are doing. You are doing that experiment by practical. Okay. So what you are going to do? You are going to take a candle and you are going to burn it. So taking a burning candle. So light is what it is. So you are going to lighten the candle. Okay. If possible, imagine the room what you have written is darkened. That is just you are darkening the room so that you just have the light alone, that is candle light, and you are sitting in front of the candle. Okay. Now you have to take a cylindrical object, that is cylindrical means a tube like structure object, and try to see through the tube. You are going to see the light coming from the burning candle through that tube. What do you see? You will be able to see the light which is produced by the flame of the candle. So this thing you are going to do now, this part. See, you are going to see, because you are taking a narrow, that is a cylindrical tube, and you are going to see the flame. Now you have to try the same thing slightly in a different way. So instead of straight tube, instead of the tube, you try to see the same thing in a bent tube. This is the bent tube. Can you able to see the difference between these two tubes? So this first one is a straight tube. Second, you are going to take a bent tube. Okay. If you have the tube, that is, if it is flexible enough, so you can do it easily and try to see it through it. Now this time, do you think you would not? Not be able to see the light? You cannot able to see anything inside the tube. It would be completely dark. Why? Is that's because light travels along the straight path. When you're seeing it at something which is in a straight, you can able to see the light. Now you are seeing something which is bent, so light doesn't see. So through the bent tube. So this shows that light travels in a straight line. Have you all clear? Okay. Now I'll say with because we can't say with one experiment. So for this, we are going to demonstrate one more experiment also. Okay. For this, here the picture is given, so you can check with this picture also. You need some plain cards. Okay. Make a hole at the center of the each of them. Now either a candle or you can use a laser light also, because laser light produces a thin narrow beam of light. It's a single frame beam of light, so it will be easily identified. Okay, so you will see the light that will passing through the cards, and you can see the light with the help of your eyes, that is because the holes are there, so you can easily see the light. Now what to do? You are going to move just any one of the cards. Now what happened? That light doesn't come out at the last. Why? Because you can't able to see the candle which is present at last. Why? Because you moved that object. For example, here the holes are very straight, so you can directly see the light. Here the card is that was moved. It has been moved, isn't it? So what happens? You can see, and here it is stopped because you cannot able to see. So this proves that light travels along the straight path. Have you are clear? So today we have talked about the interaction of light. I hope so it was somewhat very clear. For interaction of light, why? Because with the help of the interaction of light only, we can conclude whether an object is transparent or translucent or opaque. And we have already we have seen two experiments which proves that light always travel in a straight path. Okay, so okay, the remaining thing I'll continue in the next class. Thank you.